In 2025, your money can disappear faster than you can say inflation. But what if I told you there's a budget style designed to move with you, not to trap you? One that actually updates with your life. Inflation, layoffs, tech disruption, 2025 isn't playing. According to the World Economic Forum, the average global cost of living has risen faster than the wages in over 80% of the countries. So, how do you plan your money in a world where the rules keep shifting? I want to share an idea with you that has helped me in my personal finances. Because you need a smarter budget, one that updates with you, not one that just tracks the past. In this video, I'll break down the rolling budget, and it's a method recommended by the Harvard Business Review for better financial planning. And I will compare it to the classic zero based budget promoted by the US Chamber of Commerce, widely used by businesses and households alike. By the end, you'll know which one fits your lifestyle and why I believe a rolling budget is the realistic choice for 2025 and beyond. So let's start with the basics so that you can understand what a rolling budget is. A rolling budget is also called a continuous budget, and it's like a moving window. So instead of budgeting for a full year and forgetting about it, you budget for periods. You will budget, for example, you can budget for the next 12 months, and every single month you roll it forward. I'll explain that in a moment. Just stay with me. So one month ends, you add another, and you keep on constantly updating your budget. And such a budget is always evolving, it's always changing. You see? So you can say a rolling budget is like a flexible financial planning tool that you need to update monthly or quarterly. And it's used by top organizations to respond to real time changes in income and expenses. And unlike traditional annual budgets that become outdated fast, a rolling budget always looks ahead. So the trick is that every time a month ends, you add a new one. This helps in keeping your forecast fresh and actionable. For example, in January 2025, you will plan from January to December. Come February 2025, now you will plan from February 2025 to January 2026. Then in March, you will plan from March 2025 to February 2026. Do you understand the progression? But this method is good for personal finance because you can work with it using small periods like 4 to 13 weeks or like 1 to 3 months. So every month you have to make changes or readjust the budget. And this helps you to stay realistic because you're always adjusting to new income, new goals, and life surprises. Note that businesses use this method in strategic business planning and it works for them. And because of the times we are living in, you can adopt it for your personal finance. I use a rolling budget and it has helped me a lot. So, throughout this episode, I will show you the importance of a rolling budget. But first, let's do a recap of the zero based budget. A zero based budget works great with predictable income, and that is what people have been using. You assign every dollar a job until your total income minus expenses equals zero. So there are no leftovers and there's no guesswork. And it's a method that is endorsed by financial gurus. So it helps households to take control of their spending. For example, let me give you a simple example. Let's take an example of, let's say, Zach, who earns 4,000 in a month. He assigns $1,200 to rent, 400 to food, 600 to debt payoff, 500 to investments, 300 to business, 1,000 to savings, and it totals up to $4,000. So zero left unassigned. On the other hand, we have Miriam who has a take home of $3,000. So for rent, she assigns $800, food $400, transport 150, savings $200, business $600, student loans $250, for investment $500, subscriptions $100, totaling all to $3,000. So when you are creating a zero based budget, it's great for discipline. And it's good if you have consistent income and you want strict control over every dollar. So I haven't dissected these two budgets using the budgeting rule, that is the 50-20-30 or the new 65-20-15 rule. Just looking through what I've given you, the example for Zach and Miriam, I don't see emergency funds or an allocation for fun and other things that you can pick from these two individuals. I will share another interesting video discussing take home pay and budgeting styles that you can use and the likelihood of attaining financial freedom depending on the budgeting style you use. But you can watch my video explaining the 50-20-30 or 65-20-15 rules so that I keep to the scope of this episode. I don't want to go so wide so that we just understand the importance of the rolling budget for 2025 and beyond. Also, remember to like the video so that you can be notified when I post another video. Therefore, let's take it that Zach is a freelance designer making $4,000. For him to use a rolling budget, his last month's expense will act as a guide to budget for the new month because of income uncertainty. Alternatively, he can use 3 months' expenses to act as a guide for the next 3 months. But for Miriam, she has a fixed 3,000 take home. So she can continue with the same rigid budget into the new month. So which style suits you better? So let's do a comparison, side by side comparison of the rolling budget and the zero based budgeting style. So I'll break down the two types of budget using some expert criteria. So first, let's look at the flexibility. For the rolling budget, it has high flexibility because it's adaptive to life changes, okay? But for the zero based budget, it's low. You start every month, you start from zero and then you go with your budget. You budget everything to zero, down to zero, but that's not the case for the rolling budget. You roll over from 1 month to the next, you carry it forward, okay? Then for the rolling budget, you need to do a monthly review. But for the zero based budget, you will start from zero. You redesign it from zero again. I hope you can understand. Then, if you're working with the rolling budget, it can handle fluctuations better because you are working with different periods, and every time you are moving your period to include a new month to take care of any fluctuations in between month to month. But if you're working with a zero based budget, you need to do close tracking because now you cannot roll over the same numbers. That's why we are now shifting to the rolling budget. Then the rolling budget, good for people who don't have predictable income, like people who are working side hustles, or freelancers. But if you have a fixed income, a zero based budget will do good because it's strict. And mostly the rolling budget has been used by businesses, but now we are adopting it as people who are controlling our personal finances. The zero based budget has been the standard all through, but now we need a change because of the changing economic times. But why are rolling budgets making sense for 2025 and beyond? Let me be real with you. The world is changing faster than your spreadsheet can keep up. We are seeing layoffs. More people are turning to gigs. There's gig economic growth. There are new AI jobs and traditional roles are disappearing. We are facing unstable prices and predictable expenses. So, a rolling budget is like having a GPS instead of a printed map. Like you can reroute when life changes without needing to redraw your entire path. So, it will encourage long term thinking, while still handling short term changes. Because remember, we are working with periods and rolling it over, periods, rolling it over, just updating. So you get structure and flexibility, which is perfect for the times we are living in. So it's a budget style I'm using right now, and I can recommend it, especially if you have fluctuating income. Then you also, if you're juggling multiple goals, and it's also good to help you in your journey towards financial freedom, if you want to, because you need to build habits gradually, you need a system that grows with you. So I was reading some articles by the OECD, and they were talking like they were talking about economic shocks like pandemics, inflation, AI disruption. They will continue into the next decade. So therefore, rolling budgets allow you to have real-time adaptation, and that's why the businesses use it. So remember, rolling budgets are especially useful if you have fluctuating income, if you are setting long-term financial goals, and if you want predictable planning that still adjusts to changes in your life. So for 2025 and beyond, rolling budgets will give you control without rigidity. And that's why I've chosen this method for my own finances. So let's say you want to create a rolling budget. We can work with 3 months. So the first step is to build the 3 month forecast, okay? So you can use Google Sheets or Excel as your working space. So what you need to do is to track your income sources. For example, your salary, maybe you're getting $2,500 from freelance work, $1,000 from passive income, 500. Now it depends what you're getting, because even salaried people can still adopt this. Though for them, the zero based budget can work because of fixed income. Okay. Now, the next step, you're going to project your fixed and variable expenses. And you're going to use the last 3 months or 90 days as a guide. Then the next step, when you plan the current month, you're going to break down all the spending categories. Okay? Now, each new month, when you sit down to do your budget, you review the actual budget, the projected, and you update. Now, I'll need to do live episodes so that I can do detailed demonstrations. I hope you've understood all the points. And if you've gotten value, remember to like the video so that you can get notified when I post a new video to demonstrate all this. Don't need a perfect budget. You need a budget that moves with you. And remember, budgeting isn't about perfection, it's about progress. In 2025 and beyond, we need money systems that adapt to reality. So you can try it for the next 3 months and watch how your finances start working with your goals instead of against your goals.